I'm Jim Collison, and live from Omaha, Nebraska, and the Gallup office is in Singapore. This is Gallup's Call to Coach, Southeast Asia edition with special guest Irene Chia, recorded on December 15th, 2013. Call to Coach is a resource for those who want to help others discover and use their strengths. We have Gallup experts and independent strengths coaches share tactics, insights, and strategies to help other coaches maximize the talent of individuals, teams, and organizations around the world. If you have questions or comments or contributions during the show, we do have a live chat room available. It's right below the main video window. Or if you're listening to the recorded version of this, email them to us right after the show. Just send those to coaching@gallup.com. And, of course, don't forget to visit our Strength Center. Super easy. Just go out to the GallupStrengthCenter.com, all one word, for your coaching resources and training needs. And you can also catch the video in both live streaming and downloadable audio for offline listening, if that works best for you, all over there at coaching.gallup.com. Saurav Atri is our host today. Saurav works as a Director of Talent Sourcing at Gallup in our Singapore office. Saurav, it's great to see you today. Thanks for coming out, and welcome to Call to Coach.
Thank you so much, Jim. It's wonderful to be here again on our Southeast Asia edition for Call to Coach. And today we have one of our first Gallup certified strengths coaches in Singapore, Irene Chia. Irene is the founder of Whitespace Management Consulting, which is a spring off from her 20 years of experience in organization development and general management. So she's got solid experience behind her. Her focus throughout all these years has been on leadership and culture development, change management, and organization learning. And you know, she's a real expert on team-based strengths coaching. So she provides both group and one-to-one coaching for managers and individual contributors. She's done some fabulous work on teams, and you know, she leads from her strengths totally. So she's a master of ideation. And, you know, having spoken to her in the past, a couple of months now, it's literally been amazing the kind of ideas she comes up with, and you know, how she uses the creativity in her coaching. So I know that's all I'm going to share with you for now, and let her take over and, you know, share some wonderful stories that she has from her experience of over 20 years and recently, you know, focusing on coaching. And also just a quick thing on, she is also a profiling tool enthusiast, so she can share her experiences from that as well. So Irene, it's all over to you now today, and you know, there you go.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jim, and thank you, Saurav. It's a great pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invitation, and for the friends and coaches out there, thank you so much for taking time to tune in.
Great. So let's start off with your top 5. You know, we should just share what your top 5 are.
Okay, my top 5 are connectedness, ideation, individualization, strategic, and responsibility. Yeah, it is absolutely a great aha moment to me, especially my top first, connectedness. It kind of bring all the pieces together about why I think, why I make decision I did in the past, and it just makes sense. Just to give you an example, in the year 2000, I embarked on this course on learning organization. It is a course that helps us understand how to make organizations tick. And within that program, I really fell in love with this thing called systems thinking. And systems thinking is really about finding the cause and effect, understanding about the whole web, you know, in things around us, how one thing impacts the other. And I was wondering, why is it I'm so intrigued by this? And it's only till I did strength that I realized, because connectedness kind of piece everything together. Nothing is in isolation, really.
Great. Tell me a little bit more about, you know, how did you start off on the strengths journey and start off as a strengths coach?
Sure. So I started taking psychometric tools more than 15 years ago, my first. Even though I have an economics background, most of my friends joined the bank. I'm the only one of few who decided not to join the banking industry because I just love this thing about the works behind people. How do people influence the economy to begin with? So it's about the human behavior, the thinking, the emotions behind that got me interested in getting into the human business of things. Well, my first career, you'll be surprised, is a national matchmaking agency in Singapore. I was heading the department, and I was then connecting people without realizing, hey, that is my strength. It's about connecting people. Because I have ideation strength, I kind of love putting different programs together. It doesn't run out. Ideas are just aplenty there. I wonder why I'm paid to give ideas. It is serving my needs, actually. But after 7 years in that business, I decided, hey, I think I want to connect more things than just people. How can I make people tick in an organization? How can I make leaders tick? And that's how I got into doing OD work. And in the last 15 years, I'm such a tools junkie. I have taken more than 10 psychometric tools. And Strength Finder has been an Allen key to me. It's like it complements all the other tools that I have, and it provides a lot of answers, and it's really an uplifting tools for the coaches out there. And even for the organization, there's so much within the talent that have yet to be tapped on. Yeah, so that's how I got into Strength. It's not a very out of the blue story. One of my clients who have been working with me, she has the relator strength. Relator is also in my top 10. You know, we have established a certain relationship, and she knew how I function. And she said, hey, my organization uses Strength. Why don't you get yourself certified and just continue to help us? And that's how I got on it. And wow, I'm so thankful to her for that opportunity.
Wonderful. So you shared about, that you've literally been working in organization-based coaching. So how do you use the strength-based development philosophy versus other tools incorporating into your team-based coaching conversations?
Sure. I've used a lot of behavioral and personality profiling tools. But what I see that is different with this tool from the other is that it is very uplifting. It doesn't just talk about differences in personality. When we talk about differences, hey, yes, we are different now, but how do we adapt to each other? That's typically how we go on the personality profiling tool. But when it comes to strength, it is about, hey, we are different, and that's great. Because we are different, we can leverage each other's strength, and that's wonderful. You like to be out there in the limelight, selling and communicating, and you do that. Then you do that. Well, someone else who's really good at making things happen, just let them do that. So it is a case whereby I'm so glad you're different from me. Not that I have to adapt to you now, but rather, wow, we have so many talent in this team. How can we leverage and go forward? I think that is really a great differentiator of what Strength does compared to others. Yep.
Great. Also, the wonderful ideas, the activities that you do, share a little bit more about that, because I totally loved it. So I want all the people who logged in live and people who are who will watch this later as well to just hear about the kind of stuff that you do with your team. So share those activities that you do.
Okay. Having connectedness as one of my top strengths, I just love to join the dots and bring things together. So I bring my hobbies into a team development program. For example, I do painting, and I bring painting into the program. A recent program I did, I help the team envision the future. So it's not just very serious kind of program, but how do we make it fun by having everyone envision the future and then put it on a canvas so that we can bring it back to the office. So on one hand, you provide a platform for them to share an experience together that they can release later on. Hey, we went through this experience together. On the other hand, they are serving another purpose, which is to know what is the success outcome for us down the road, 2-3 years down the road. What do we want to see? There's something on the board, on the wall. When we go back to office, we can remember this is the success outcome we want to achieve. Let's remember that, and let's hold on fast to that. At the same time, they have some fun just trying out something that they don't do every day, painting. And similarly, I use music and I use cooking, for example. A team of ladies from the administration department, they just love cooking. So let's bring cooking into the Strength Finder program. And they were given a mission, and through the mission, they were given resources, a certain amount of money to go and purchase the ingredients they need within a certain time. How do they come back? How do they put the pieces together? How can they accomplish the dishes within a certain time? And through the experience, they talk about how they have leveraged each other's strength. For example, I have a participant who has a relator strength, and so what she did was she talked a lot about who is going to eat this, who's going to consume this. Should we be mindful? Is she a vegetarian? Do we have more salt, less salt? And It's so interesting how they do that. And we have somebody else with a maximizer, or how can I spend the most with this limited amount of money that was given to me. So they somehow can really relate to what they have just done. And from there, I think it's easier for them to connect back to the organization in the organization context. How do we work with one another, given limited resources, given limited budget, and differences in our talent? How can we really make use of each other's talent in a most productive way? I think that was fun, and yet it is meaningful for them. I have some pictures here. I can show the pictures.
Yeah, that is such innovative, techniques on that, and we'll see if we can get those pictures up. Just from those stories, do you have any aha moments that you came across during these coaching exercises that you did with your participants?
Okay, back to the painting program. When they were given the task to envision the future, there was a silent pause, a very pregnant pause in the beginning. I was wondering, why is everyone not moving? And if you look at the domain strength, what happened was that most of them have strength that is under execution. They are very good at keeping to the quality because they come from a manufacturing background, and they have to take care of the quality in the product that they produce. So I think that is where their strength lies, and they have a great relationship building talent, and they kind of like able to relate and socialize with each other in a very short period of time, 6 months. They were able to know each other. But when it comes to envisioning the future, it's like, okay, that's not quite our talent. And what happened is that there were 2 persons in the team that had strategic thinking themes. So someone suggested, hey, you have ideation. Why don't you suggest something? And this gentleman just say, okay, why not we just stand up, go to the flip and start doing something. And at that moment, when they stand in front of the flip, things start to roll. And this is a group of people who are really good at making things happen. When they were around the flip, it's like, hey, let's get down to working and doing the real work. And that's where the brainstorm started. And the amazing part is that they not just got the success outcome ready, they got the sketch ready, the conceptualization, the painting, all done in under 2 hours. Well, the last painting I did, I took about 9 months. And this is under 2 hours. So that's an amazing way whereby they can use their strength. Someone who has ideation, no, come on, tell us, what should we do? And then people have execution strength, they just make things happen. Yeah, so easily. So that is really a great aha.
Absolutely wonderful. Also, just looking at, you've been through the strengths coaching program. What are the tools that you use from, the kits that you have from managers and teams coaching? What do you use to incorporate that into your existing coaching?
I think one of the things that the participants really, really love is the ability to affirm each other. Now that I have a language to see where your strength is coming from, why you behave, why you do things in a certain way, I got them to talk about how did I see you do that at work. And when that happened, it is a very motivational piece during the program, because, hey, I feel being very affirmed by my fellow colleague. I didn't know you actually appreciate that. So that moment was something that most of the participants find really, really useful, because their strength is really alive. And they could really see it that, hey, I didn't know that is different. I didn't know that is unique. I didn't know you actually value that a lot of me compared to others. And I didn't know that I do that a lot easier than the rest of you. So that is really a great aha that is brought to the team. The other thing is the fact that it is like a signature. We have all top five different themes. So you do not have to worry that, hey, I don't have these or I don't have that. But rather, when I put the 5 together, it makes me who I am, that others are not. So I'm special at the end of the day. So I think that is really great for the participant. They feel that they're a unique individual. Yeah, and I think that is something that, well, human mankind should have. Okay, that's my connectedness strength coming in. I just can't help it, it's a web out there. It's a web. Yeah.
Irene, I did bring that picture up, I think, at least the collage. This is one of 2 of the emails that you sent to us. So if you go to the bottom corner there, you'll see the picture. You can bring it up full screen on your own if you'd like, if you just click on that. We're showing that out there live, full stream. Can you talk a little bit to those pictures that are there?
Okay, this is a picture of this group, which is a really small group, but it doesn't matter. In team development, we believe that if a group is small, it allows a lot of opportunity for them to dialogue and talk about things with each other. In a safe way, in a way that it connects with one another. So, well, the first picture is where they just had a meal together. Very nice, cozy moment. The second picture, the second row, as you can see over there, is.
You bet. I'm sorry. Let me give you. You had sent two pictures. You said the second row. Shoot, and I just clicked that off. Let me sorry about
put it
that.
back again.
Let me bring that to back up.
While Jim is setting that up, Irene, just a quick question in terms of your experience. What's a normal team size that you work with in terms of coaching them? What would you say is the ideal team size, or what are the different variation of teams that you work with in terms of size?
Sure. I mean, ideally, if you want more conversation where everyone hear from each other, then let's keep to a size of 20 or fewer. Yeah. But it doesn't matter if you really have a very big group and you need to prioritize and all that. There are different ways and tools to get around there. We can do a work cafe or have a cluster within a big group so that people who work a lot more with each other can have more opportunity to communicate and hear each other out. Yeah, but ideally I like to keep to 20 or below if you want lots of conversation.
So I have that picture back up for you. Sorry about that.
Could we enlarge that so that the rest could see it?
Yeah, no, it's all for the folks that are seeing it live. They're seeing it on their big screen.
Oh, great. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, the second picture you can see on the second row is where they sit around and start talking to each other. If you see on their table, I have designed a standee whereby their top 5 strengths are written there. So they were able to quickly look at each other and have time to digest and know what are your strengths, my strength. So then when we go back to the office, it's at our fingertips. We don't have to refer to the report, who are you, what you have, and all that. But straight away, we are very attuned to who we are. The third picture, as you can see there, is the final artwork that they have. Very colorful, and all of them have an opportunity to have in hand to design this canvas that is now in the room in the office.
Wonderful.
Okay. And I'll take a second and bring that other picture up as well. Give me just a second. You bet.
Yeah, and Irene, while Jim is setting that up, just from your experience, what sort of activities work really well with smaller groups, say 10 and less, and what sort of activities, work really well with, say, 10 to 20 groups in terms of team coaching?
Right. I think a lot of it has got to do with the objective behind the team coaching. I mean, to begin with, some organization, that's where we go in and diagnose what is the need behind. Some of them may have an issue with conflict management, for example. Again, we go back to Tuckman's model, the forming, storming, norming, and performing. Where are they right now? And then you decide what kind of team building do we want to have? Is this a case whereby they are still getting to know each other? Or is this a case whereby there are differences and it's getting into the way of productivity? How can we best use the session to sort things out? Or they're at a stage of norming whereby they need to come up with processes that everyone can agree with. Or they're at a stage of performing whereby they are already doing very well. What's next? What is next to keep me? What's next that can motivate me? I think starting from that premise will be very important. And the other thing is, end of the day, how does it serve the organization? I think for any organization to send any participant for a workshop, it is so important for coaches out there to really help the organization know what is the business case for them at the same time. Where I don't want to just spend a few $100s on each participant, but what do we get out of it? How do we measure success at the end of the day? So it's so important to know what are the specific goals you want to see after this program, and be very clear with that with your stakeholder. Maybe for them is, creating an awareness is good enough, or the way we speak in meeting. Let's be very open. If we disagree, let's bring it to the open. Is that the outcome you want to see? So we are very clear with that with regard to our stakeholders' engagement upfront first, and then we can decide what kind of program we want. And again, for the participant out there are some who prefer the outdoors. Let's let us run around, especially some organization with more male dominated environment. They prefer something that is more physical. And then for the ladies, let's not have too much sun. Yeah? Then let's bring something indoor like the music and maybe even flower arrangement. We can use that even for team building. Yeah. So it all depends. There's lots of things that can be done for strategic planning, for resolving issues or planning ahead what we want to do, or deciding on resources going forward, action planning. So lots of things that can be done at team development.
Okay, so we'll bring up that second picture there. You want to talk a little bit about that and what's going on there?
Yeah, this is a group of ladies from the admin team. As you can see on the table, that's where the standees that I mentioned earlier. It has all their strength written there. And this is a group who has done strength the year before. And they have newcomer on the team. And they want to ensure that everybody is on the same page. How do we move forward? How do we review what we have practiced and move forward? The interesting thing is that this team has a lot of, execution and a lot of relationship building strength. And they were saying that the people out there do not know what we do. And when they have a newbie on board, this young lady, and she has the talent of wool, and that's fantastic. She blends in so well with the rest. She has wool and relator at the same time. She had no issue blending with the ladies and learning from them. She doesn't know how to cook, but she just flow along and they love her. So it was very interesting to see how the team blend with each other at the end of the day.
Great. Also, just, you talked about, your own themes as well, your top 5, right? So tell me a little bit more, how do you use your own top 5 strengths and your own strengths to lead these coaching conversations and, train teams?
Sure. Right. I'm absolutely fascinated with how my themes work, play out in the job I do today. Number one, connectedness. Because of connectedness, I see things in a larger canvas. I don't see things that's very isolated. You come to me and you ask me for a talk, for example. A client asks me for a talk, and I say a talk is not going to solve the problem overnight. You can crack a lot of jokes, they have a good time, and that's about it. Is that what you want? At the end of the day, let's solve deeper issue. So with them, I do a lot of OD work, which is real organizational development. Is really about looking at the system, looking at the processes, how are leaders encouraging this, how are people taking it, what is the culture. So when I go in, the connectedness, talent kind of help me piece things together. And with ideation, I just love to create ideas. Sometimes I go on a long jog and I return with 20, 30 ideas, and I can't wait to tell the client this is what I think you can do. And individualization, I don't see clients the same way. They are from a different industry, they have different issues, people are different. So I customize it for them. So that's where ideation, individualization come in. And my fourth strength is being strategic. That's where I feel that it has to make business sense to them. Whatever we're going to do, whether it's a workshop, a talk, it has to make business sense. Again, what is the outcome you want to see after this entire project? And lastly, the theme of responsibility just helped me see through things. And I can't sleep till I finish my project. So after each day, I will just ensure I'm in touch with them. This is how it went, and this is what the participants say. And moving forward, this is what we should do. And that's the reason why some of the clients stay with me for a long time. I've known them for years, and they kept coming to me, and I'm so thankful for them. Yeah.
Wonderful. And just in going ahead, we have a lot of coaches who are dialed in live, and a lot of them will be listening to them. Just from your experience, what advice would you give them, on how to go about developing their coaching business and going ahead with it?
Sure. I think coaching is like a dance. Every coaching experience is different from one coach and coachee to another pair of coach and coachee. You both go in with different themes, different talent. You go in with different so-called lenses. So I think it's so important for two to be able to tango. How I see things from my perspective and how you see is so different. Let me just give you an example. I had a Gallup coach myself. When she called me earlier, this year when I completed my program. She has a theme of maximizer. So what she did was, Irene, you have maximizer. Now, we are coming up with questions for the exam. Why don't you give me some ideas since you have ideation team? So it became like a dance. It's not only I benefit, she benefit at the same time. So within the coaching experience, we find that, wow, okay, you are helping me use my theme and make it come alive. So I feel that, yes, it takes. So I think as coach, we must be so aware of who we are and aware of what our coaches are, so that it becomes a dance at the end of the day. And I think this thing about being willing to be authentic, being real to them, and believing in the tools. Once they know that you're real, I can see that you speak from your heart. I think the buy-in is a lot more. So this is about what a coach can do. Listen, deep listening, knowing really they are really unique, different from other people. I think in today's context, knowledge and skills are not enough. Any of your coaches can log on and find out, hey, this is what we do coaching. I can do it myself. Why do I need you? So I guess that's where you come in. How do we create an aha moment in them? How can they see that, hey, I didn't see it from that perspective. Now you created that. I was not conscious about this. Finally, I'm conscious. I know the benefits it will bring me. If I know this, if I do this, it has a benefit. I think that is very important. And I think setting very clear, specific goals is very key too, because at the end of the day, we don't want to have a coaching session and we say that, well, what just hit us? Yeah, this is what the coach say. Okay, that's it, finish, full stop. But rather, how do you follow through? How do you know when you're successful? And I think this thing about sheer discipline is so important. How can we help the coachee follow through? It's important. How can we create a support system for them? Let me give you a simple example. My son is in a canoeing team, the school canoeing team, and the coach is so by their side throughout the day. Well, it's so much that he spends more time on the water than on land. And he sees him more than I see my own son. But what happened is that because of sheer discipline and sheer follow through, the coach will not let them off. There's one time where he had a very bad blister. He sent the coach. Now this is a picture of how I look. Can I be excused? All the coach did was be a man, plaster up and train. And that is really about discipline, and you have someone there to support you. So I think it's so important to create that support system for the coach out there. Will that be your buddy? Will it be me following up with you? Is there a technology that help you prompt you and remind you about what you have done, what you've not done, what you have not followed up? Do that. So that is on a one-to-one coaching perspective. At the organizational level, I think it is important that we establish the business case with the stakeholder, be it the HR director or the CEO. What does it mean for us before and after? And from the leadership, it is so important. I can't emphasize that more. How can the leaders be supporting of this whole system that we are trying to create, so that the staff say, yeah, even my managers, my supervisor is in this with me, so that we can all do this together. We are not alone, and this is not separate. They are walking the talk. Yeah, I think this is so important for us coaches out there to be mindful of, both the individual dimension as well as the organizational dimension.
Great. And you work with so many leaders in the region. I see that you have experiences across so many different industries, be it education, healthcare, hospitality, pharmaceuticals, insurance, tourism, and government services. From your experience, what potential do you see of developing coaching in the region here? Because it's still at I wouldn't say it's at a mature state, it's still at a developing state here.
Yes, absolutely. I think in this region, coaching is catching on, not as fast. I think the CEO are more in favor of giving coaching to the higher senior management team or the high potential staff, and I think that there is a big middle level that is being missed out in this. And it's wonderful if we can bring the whole layer of middle manager on board, because they are the one that is sandwiched between the top management and the support staff. If we don't leverage them, who do we rely on to run the business? But for a start, I think that going in on a group coaching will be a good start for organizations who are not ready, because I think for them there's economies of scale in that sense. More people benefit from the session, and it's about how do we incorporate follow-up mechanism in such a way that is seamless with the organization structure. It is nothing that takes them out of work. For example, give them projects they are already working on rather than a brand new and project that's got nothing to do with what they're doing. And let's see how they take on using the new strength or the new tools that they have acquired. I think that would be really useful for the organization.
Great. Jim, you have any thoughts on that?
No thoughts on that, but some questions from chat. Joseph Tan has been out in chat feeding me some questions, and you may have touched on this already, so I'll apologize, but he did ask, any experience in incorporating StrengthsFinder with OD processes like hiring, appraisal, maybe a specific example?
Sure. I think it's absolutely useful of incorporating strength with career development talk, performance management, because it is really about helping the staff to do things the way that they find the most efficient way, the most productive way. I would like to pull in this quote from John Wooden. He says, "Don't let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do. Don't let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do." So that is really about the staff that you appraise. How can we help them make use of what they already have in their toolkit and use that to achieve the result, rather than the prescribed way that the manager think. It's important that the manager think this is the best way. I've done this, you should do this as well. I think that is something that many managers should be aware of. Yeah, we are not making them to be a clone like us, but we are helping this unique individual to achieve what is out there, the potential that is so rich out there. Yeah.
And just a reminder, Joseph Tan, he's one of the few out in chat tonight. He gets to dominate the questions because he joined us live. So if you're watching the recorded version of this, you always want to keep track of coaching.gallup.com for a lot of the live shows that we do. But Joseph also asked, what are your top, and I'll add the word favorite, but what are your top or favorite probing questions when you're coaching? What do you like to ask? What are some of those first questions that you ask?
Okay, I think we are so trained to know what we do not want, but we are so uncertain about what we want. So one of those first questions that I would really like to get out of coaching is to really understand, what do they want? And they will always be lost about what they want. So the next question is, if you have no constraint, you have no budget, no time constraint, no environment constraint, what would you want? And when we drill down deeper, I call that the 5 whys, WHY. We'll most of the time get to really what the coachee is interested in, what is important to them. Yeah, if you have to give up some things, what are some things that you will want, and you can choose to give up all the others? What would that be? I think those are questions that I find really, really useful. Yep. Sometimes they may not have the answer overnight. Doesn't matter. Go back, think about it. It'll come to you somehow. So just allow the process to unfold itself. I think that's something that's important.
Those are some good questions. Sarv, anything else, or do you want to talk about? I don't know if we know who we have coming up in January yet here on Call to Coach for Singapore.
So we would have, our new batches. So I just want to highlight this fact that, we just finished our first inaugural accelerated strengths coaching course in Singapore in the last week of November, and we had a wonderful bunch of people who've been through that program. And I'm on a WhatsApp group with them, and it's been nonstop buzzing since the day we completed the course. And it's just an unbelievable movement that you're part of in the region here. Our next course in Singapore is coming up in March from 3rd till the 7th. And we have another one in Sydney, in Korea. I would recommend all of you who are interested to be part of this big movement, who want to become strengths coaches, Gallup certified strengths coaches, to go on our website, gallupstrengthscenter.com, and look at all the courses that we have available. If you want to know more about any of these courses, feel free to reach out to us at coaching@gallup.com. And we'll be happy to address your queries. We'll be happy to even connect you to the coaches that we have coming in on our call to coaches, as well as people who've been through this program to share their experiences. And like I said, we're part of this big community that we're building up here on a global scale as well as locally. And we want all of you to be part of this movement, because the movement has already started, right? It's about whether you can get on now or you can get on later. It's choice is yours. And Irene can share her experiences of speaking to some of the coaches that have been through the program, and her fellow peers who've been through the program with her in the U.S. Irene, do you want to have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I have some of these students who approach me, hey, let's partner up. Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm excited to have a bigger pool of people who are there on board with us. Yeah.
Well, very good. Well, if with no other questions, at least at this point for either one of you, do you want me to bring this thing in for a landing, Sarv?
That'll be great. Actually, I think I just want to give a special thanks to Irene for taking time out and speaking to us. She's a really busy person with the kind of project that she's been working on. So it was really difficult to kind of catch hold of her and bring her into this. And thank you so much for sharing those wonderful stories, Irene. And we are, like I said, we are really looking forward to having many more coaches come onto this platform and share their experiences for the global community to learn and listen in and chime in their thoughts as well. So thank you so much, Irene.
You're welcome.
Irene, it was great. I want to say thanks as well. If you're ever back in Omaha, that's where my office is, and so it'd be great to see you. If
Definitely.
you make it back into the Omaha area, I'll expect you to give me a call before you get there so we can meet for some coffee or something like that. Also want to remind everyone to take full advantage of all the resources we have. Sarv mentioned that earlier at the Gallup Strength Center. Just go to gallupstrengthcenter.com. You can send us your questions or comments offline afterwards if you're watching the recorded version, coaching@gallup.com. And you can also catch the recorded audio and video of this show and all the past ones. We've got 10 or 12 of them out there now over at coaching.gallup.com. And we are looking for guest bloggers as well, both here in the U.S. and international-wise. If you're interested in submitting a post for consideration, you can just send us that email. Again, coaching@gallup.com. That's kind of the universal address for everything. Just if you have anything that you need, let us know. Put guest blogger in the subject, and actually that'll come to me, and we'll get a chance to interview you, maybe get you on our coaches blog as well. We want to thank Irene for coming today, for joining us, and we look forward to the next Call to Coach there in Singapore. And so we'll say good night and good day, and thanks for coming out. Thanks for watching Call to Coach. Goodbye, everyone.